Google Maps is a very useful tool, but like any app or website, sometimes there will be glitches and mistakes. But with something as important and widely used as Google Maps, sometimes these mistakes have big consequences. From an assassin sent to the wrong house thanks to Google Maps, to a country being invaded because of a Google Maps error. Desert disaster. In 2017, one woman named Amber Van Heck was traveling to the Grand Canyon. She was driving down a long desert road, and that's when she realized she only had enough gas left for 70 more miles. According to Google Maps, she was only 35 miles from the nearest gas station. But it turned out that this was not the case at all. Google Maps directed Amber to turn onto a road which did not exist. After driving down this deserted road for many miles, her car finally gave out. There was nothing around her for miles but empty Arizona desert. Thankfully, Amber thought fast. Using stones, she built a large help sign for passing aircraft. She also had food and water that she'd brought with her. After 5 days, no one had come to help her. She had used up all of her supplies and she feared that she may not make it. She recorded goodbye videos for her family and friends in case she was not found in time.
I tried to chase down a truck, but they didn't see me in their rear view. I'm okay.
On the 5th day, she left a note behind explaining her situation. She then hiked for 22 miles until she finally found some reception. She called 911 but lost service halfway through the call. However, thankfully authorities had enough information to dispatch a helicopter to rescue her. She was airlifted to a hospital which cost her a lot of money but did save her life. Invasion. Calero Island sits between Nicaragua and Costa Rica. In 1897, it was recognized as part of Costa Rica. But ever since then, there have been many land disputes about its sovereignty. In 2010, Nicaraguan troops invaded the island. They spent several nights camping on the island, and even replaced the Costa Rican flag with a Nicaraguan flag. The Nicaraguan commander Eden Pastora had invaded because he checked Google Maps. According to Pastora, Google had clearly placed the island within Nicaragua's border, and for him, this was enough to justify an invasion. In response, Costa Rica deployed hundreds of soldiers to the island, but thankfully no conflict broke out. Google also fixed the mistake, and they said that militaries should not use them as a reference. On the other hand, Bing actually did place the island in the correct borders. So maybe this is one example where Bing is actually better than Google. Demolition Glitch. In 2015, Rowlett, Texas was hit by a tornado. This caused massive damage to over 1,000 homes. One of the people affected was Lindsay Diaz. The entire roof of her house was totally blown off by the tornado. Thankfully, her house was not affected too badly, and all she had to do was fix the roof. She got her insurance claim and she had plans to rebuild the roof. But on March 22nd, 2016, she returned to her property to find it torn down. It turned out that a demolition crew had destroyed it. The demolition company said that they had been given a permit to demolish two buildings, 7601 and 7603 Costo Drive, but Diaz and her neighbor lived at 7601 and 7603 Calypso Drive. This was just 1 block away. A Google Maps glitch had sent the demolition crew to the wrong street, and when they saw the damage to Diaz's property, they assumed that they'd found the right place. Thankfully, the demolition company apologized and paid $200,000 to build Diaz a new house. Secret military bases. You may think that Google Maps allows you to see anywhere on Earth. This is partially true, but governments can opt for Google to censor certain areas which they deem sensitive. This is often done to prisons, oil refineries, and military bases. But in 2019, Google Maps came out with a new feature. They provided a 3D map for 4 Taiwanese cities. But one thing Google did not realize was this meant that the city of New Taipei was in 3D, and in New Taipei is one of Taiwan's most secret military bases. And just like that, the exact location and structures of the classified Patriot military defense base base were exposed. Anyone could clearly see the launchers and even the missiles stored there. You could also see the defense systems of 2 of Taiwan's military offices. This would be very dangerous and sensitive intel for any military to release in any country. But because tensions with Taiwan and China are building all the time, this made it even more dangerous. China's President Xi Jinping says Taiwan's unification with China is inevitable. According to many, it's a question of when, not if. Let's hope that Google's mistake did not help China in this situation. Assassin. In 2010, Eric Kooler went to his parents' house. When he went inside, he found his parents, Dennis and Myrna, were not alive. Despite his lawyer saying that there was no forensic evidence saying Eric did it, he was sentenced for this. But that's when his parents' next-door neighbor came forward with some stunning information. Just days before they were assassinated, their next-door neighbor Steve Burgess was sent a threatening letter. Steve Burgess is the president at a local bank. It's believed an assassin may have been trying to target him, but because of a mistake, his address actually goes to Eric Kohler's parents' house on Google Maps. This led CBS News to theorize that maybe an assassin was trying to take out Dennis Kohler's parents' neighbor. To this day, it's still a mystery, and Eric still says he had nothing to do with his parents passing from behind bars. Favela fail. In 2017, some tourists from Argentina and Spain were traveling in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. They were following Google Maps, trying to find the Christ the Redeemer statue. But that's when Google Maps led them into the Morro dos Prazeres favela. This is the most dangerous slum in all of Brazil. It only took a few minutes for the tourists' car to come under heavy gunfire. They barely escaped alive. Brazilian favelas used to not be on Google Maps. This is because they're very dense and unregulated, making them hard to map. But ever since Google started including them, many have said this is very dangerous. That's because, just like in this situation, it could cause tourists to wander unwittingly into very dangerous areas. Street View Affair. In 2018, one man from Peru was browsing Google Maps. He was looking for a route to a popular bridge in Lima, but while he was using the Street View mode, he noticed a woman wearing very familiar clothing. The woman was wearing an outfit his wife would often wear. When the man looked closer, his jaw dropped. He realized that it was in fact his wife with another man resting romantically on her lap. That man was not him, meaning that his wife was having an affair. His wife's face was blurred, so just in case it was a coincidence, he confronted her with the photos. And that's when his wife confessed that she had been cheating on him. The photos had been taken by a Google Street camera car back in 2013. The woman had no idea that 5 years later this would end her relationship. Highway route. Back in 2010, Google Maps was testing out walking directions. This meant that the walking directions would not always be accurate. They put a warning saying this on their website, but apparently this warning did not show up on BlackBerry phones. Lauren Rosenberg did not realize this. She had been walking at night through Park City, Utah. That's when Google directed her across a 4-lane highway. This highway had no sidewalks. Rosenberg tried to cross the road, but was hit by a very fast car. This caused multiple bone fractures. She went on to sue Google for $100,000. But in 2011, the case was dismissed, with Google winning. Now it's time to make your voice heard. Comment below which was the biggest Google Maps mistake in this video. If you want some more amazing videos, check out my second channel. But as always, thanks for watching. There are some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.